Well, good evening and welcome to a late version of our Friday Night Blitz post-game show. We've got coaches already on the line. I'm loving that already, and thank you for being with us. We appreciate that as we grab a few coaches here in just a second here. Ray Halbrook from Livestream STL Media was able to real quick get back over here from Festus High School. Saw an instant classic game between Farmington and Festus, and some really good football. Good football all around. It seems like at most games tonight. So without further ado, I know I've got my good friend over on the other in the studio. Mr. Jeff Whitener is in the studio. Jeff, how's it going?
Not too bad, just tossing the ball around here in studio and talking to Coach Schmidt off the air.
I got you, and we're going to get Coach Schmidt on here for just a quick second here. But before we get started, I want to get the Week 8 results that we have so far. So we're in Canva here today. Yeah, that's what we use here. But we're going to use this to try to keep things updated as we speak and go along the night here. Festus 41, Farmington 36. Again, an instant classic on Livestream STL. Herculaneum wins over Perryville 16-13 on Livestream STL2. St. Pius X 48. That's St. Pius X 48 in Kansas City over St. Pius X and Festus. Jeff's already making some changes as we speak here. So I see that on the fly here, Jeff. But
that's right.
Yeah, St. Pius X Festus, they get down 48-20 over there on Livestream STL3. Seckman 54, Hazelwood West 12. We do not have a score yet for Parkway North and Fox. Northwest 69, Parkway Central, that's 9. We'll put a space in between there down the road. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that, Jeff. St. Genevieve 55, Jefferson 14, St. Vincent 44, Grandview 12, Cuba 48, Bayless 20, Scotland County 52, Crystal City 30, Chaminade 42, Hillsborough 7, Potosi 40, DeSoto 14. No score yet in from Windsor and Fredericktown, and North County 24, St. Clair 14, and that was on Thursday. As we come back here, if you hear my dog in the background, I apologize, but it is what it is. And so when we're at the office, we just got to do what we got to do here. So, let's jump on here real quick, Jeff. I'm gonna have you go ahead and interview here, Coach Schmidt.
Well, we already talked, Ray. I think we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Tough night there for DeSoto. We were talking with Coach Schmidt off the air as far as the learning opportunities, trying to get a team to understand what they have to do week to week to be consistent. And I think that was kind of the theme of the night, right, Coach?
Sir, just consistency, bridging that consistency gap between Hillsborough and Potosi this week.
It's a situation where you've got young guys and the high of winning against a big rival, and then you turn around next week, and as you mentioned off the air, you guys had a good week of practice, but once the game started and after the first kickoff, that something just didn't click in the guys, right?
Well, yeah, I mean it was 14-14 for a little bit, and then they just started to take off away from us, and we never really could reel it back in, and it got out of hand pretty quick after that, after halftime. I give Potosi credit. They were well prepared for us and did a lot of things right, and we did a lot of things wrong tonight.
Coach, it's really interesting when you look at the Mississippi conferences and the Quad County Conference with the small schools. It seems to me that there's just a tremendous amount of parity this year. And a lot of teams are having trouble trying to grasp that consistency that we're talking about.
Well, there's a lot of variables. You got injuries and things along that line that factors in, and kids going home sick. We had that today. You don't make excuses, but it is what it is. And all of those things are all the moving parts of success and sustained success on Friday night. And when you don't have a lot of depth and you work that fine gray area, walk that tightrope of having kids healthy and unhealthy, it tends to become something like we saw tonight.
Even in the loss, any guys that you might want to mention that really played hard tonight, played the game the way that you want them to play, and gave that kind of effort for you?
Well, I thought, you took offensive line at times did some things right. Braden McAnally, our senior, was pretty consistent ball player tonight. Defensively, we gave up 40 points. That's it's hard pill to swallow because that's something we've hung our hat on this year is playing some pretty consistent defense. So, as we told the kids, we'll work hard as a staff this weekend to get things in a situation where we'll have them in the right spots to have success next week at Herky.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Herky. They had a big win tonight against a Class 4 team. 16-13. That game was a very physical, very defensive game. So that's probably the same type of game that you're going to see next week, I would imagine, and need to prepare for.
Well, and to their credit, they're healthy. I think they were struggling last year when we got into Week 9, but we'd rather play a healthy Herky team and to make it a very competitive football game for both of us.
Should be a good one. Ray, I don't know. Are we going to have that one next week? Is he in there still?
I am, and we will have that game. We're not quite sure exactly what channel it'll be on, but we will have that coverage. So looking forward to it, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for your coverage, guys.
Coach Rush Schmidt, as we grab, we're hoping for a few other coaches to jump on here as well. And, Jeff, real quick, just got over here from the Festus game, and my, it was very interesting at the very, very beginning of that Festus game. I'll just do a little reporting on it. Festus came out kind of slow, and I think Coach O'Fadale would definitely attest to that. And they were down 14-0 at one time, and didn't look like they were about ready to hit that second gear at all anytime soon. And then all of a sudden, we had a good touchdown and got a little bit of that momentum back. And then all of a sudden, at that point, it became a grudge match back and forth, trading some touchdowns here and there. And, the second half is always something else for Coach O'Fadale, especially being able to, make adjustments and make the right moves and things like that. And there was a ton of penalties on both sides, but there was probably a little bit more on the Festus side. So I know that's something they'll probably want to clean up in the weeks to come here, especially having Jackson come in next week and, get yourself tuned up for districts. But traded punches, climbed back into the game, took the lead late, and then Farmington ties the game with about 4.5 minutes to go, goes for two, converts the 2-point conversion to make it 35-34. And Festus basically runs the rest of the clock out, most of the clock, and just marches down the field, gets a touchdown. They tried to go for two and was unsuccessful, but comes out with the win, and big win there for the Festus Tigers.
Well, and that was a touchdown with 53 seconds left. Farmington comes down the field. They get a big reception and run from their tight end.
Yeah.
3.7 seconds left. They toss it into the end zone. And I couldn't tell if that was just an incomplete pass or a deflection by the defender on that play to end the game. But what a game, Ray. And, you talked about the slow start for the Tigers. They if you remember, that was sort of their MO prior to last season for the first couple of years of Coach O'Fadale's tenure. They seemed to be slow out of the gate. They were able to come back, make a lot of adjustments at halftime, and come back and win a lot of games. They didn't see that situation last year, but certainly tonight that was on display. The other thing that flipping back and forth between the games tonight, the play of Parker Perry, the poise that he had, and not only avoiding the rush and moving left to right if necessary, running if necessary, but he was so good at stepping up in the pocket when he was feeling the rush, taking that 2 or 3 steps forward and finding the open man. As they did on their winning touchdown. That was a prime example of what he's able to do back there, the poise that he's shown. And I'm just very impressed with that young man.
Right. Oh, I'm a big Parker Perry fan. I'll tell you, I've seen him probably the most out of everybody, and it's been quite an interesting, just seeing him develop this season, especially. He steps in for trying to remember who the quarterback was last season, but anyway, steps in and just basically takes over and plays with a ton of poise, plays with a ton of just moxie. Tonight I saw a lot more of that moxie because he had to literally a few plays put the team on his back and actually do more than just manage the game, and that was the thing that got me the most impressed with tonight was just being able to take charge. Okay, I need to take this into my own hands and take care of business, and he did.
Ray, we'll have to tell the young people here that what Moxie is because they probably don't know.
There you go.
Folks, that's not a performance enhancing drug. That's part of your character. So
No, it's not.
Well, we had Coach Bear, and then all of a sudden I look over and there's Coach Gerling.
Yep, I've got Coach Bear, Coach Gerling as well. We'll start with Coach Bear here real quick, and Coach Bear's in the dark as usual. He likes wearing sunglasses in the dark. That's just kind of how he rolls. But Coach, how you doing?
Good. I'm in the back alley of the coaches meeting here. So I've been out front. I've been the truck. Now I'm in the back alley.
One of these days you're going to be able to just bring us into the coaches meeting, and we'll actually get debriefed as well.
I think it's karaoke. So.
Oh my goodness. Nick Bear is going to end up being one of our color guys down the road for football after he retires, right?
Davis 16 years from now. So
16 years, he's counting down the years. There you go. So, Coach, give us a little insight on what's going on.
Yeah, we play Hazelwood West tonight. I think it was 52-12. Just a night where we executed well on offense again. We knew Hazelwood West, coming in struggling, similar to Parkway South last week. So it's a very similar message, a look inward on who we are and what we do and make sure, we're finding the details and we're competing at practice. Some of the best competition we see is at our practices and, keeping that high level energy throughout the week. And then coming out and executing on Friday night. And we had senior night tonight. So, great opportunity to get everybody in, smiles galore and, had some seniors make some plays.
Excellent. Do you have some questions?
Yeah. Was this a typical Nick Bear offense tonight or did we, were we throwing the ball around a little bit?
Yeah. Honestly, as we, have been working to really try to find, we had our balance early in the year. We kind of got away from some of that execution and the downfield stuff. And, honestly, I told the quarterback tonight I needed him to channel his inner Jackson Dart.
Hey, there you go. I love it.
Go out there and have fun. Get the ball out on time. Take a couple shots downfield. We got the guys to do it. And he did just that. So really proud of, how we answered. We hit a downfield touchdown to Nick Weidler. We really want the ability to stretch the field and stress a defensive backfield. And we did that tonight. And, it was good to see that. And then obviously, we put the ball on the ground and ground and pound and kind of get a good little mix and keep the defense on their toes and worked out tonight.
Anybody on the defensive side of the ball that you think had a really good game tonight, really kind of stood out for you?
Hazelwood West, I think they had 4 or 5 turnovers. So, we did a great job just disrupting the football and being physical. The defensive line did a great job. Luke Ferrario came up with a strip sack later in the game. He scored a touchdown last year. Anthony Rich Ravato, defensive lineman, scooped up one and put about 5 guys on his back and went downfield. So, like I said, a fun night for seniors to go out and make plays. And now this is one we put in our rear view. When you look at, how it's going to go next season, conference realignment, we don't really have games like this anymore. And it's kind of a new era for our program. And it's kind of exciting to be ready for that. And, looking towards next week, we got Webster and, they play us tough every year. They make us work, and we have to be, detail oriented and ready to execute to finish out the conference championship.
Yes, sir, against Webster Groves, and they lost to Oakville tonight. But I'm sure, as you said, they for some reason always seem to play you guys tough. So we'll look forward to that, Coach.
Well, when you play a team in your conference and you've done it 5 or 6 years, and then they finally, they get a little comfortable with your run fits and how to do things. And Webster Northwest, they played a few weeks ago. That was I didn't know that was that good. It was a great game. That was a back and forth. Northwest scraped a win out from the jaws of defeat, similar to how we did against Fox in week 2, and good for them. And Webster's shown that they could play with the top teams in the conference, so we'll have to be ready.
Well, Coach, speaking of Northwest, we're going to let you go because we've got Scott Gerling on the on-deck circle here. So,
well, hey, I appreciate you guys letting me on first. I've had to watch him talk like the last 3 weeks. So.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll let you go back to the coaches meeting.
No problem, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Nick Bear from the Seckman Jaguars, dude. Jaguars. That guy, that coach there, I'm not kidding you. He is something else. But
the comedy stylings.
He's got a little bit of comedy there. So, Coach Scott Gerling's on the line. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
Very good, thank you, Ray.
Tell us a little bit about your game tonight.
We won 62-9. I haven't seen your scoreboard, so I don't know if you guys had that one up yet or not.
I actually had 69, but that 62 is the actual score?
62-9, yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll get that fixed.
We came out and we played really well. I felt especially on the offensive side, we were a little bit sloppy at times. Had a couple like turnover type things that popped in there, and we were a little sloppy handling the ball, even when we didn't have turnovers. And then they kind of came out and did some things on offense on their opening drive that surprised us that we really didn't expect, and really drove the ball down the field and scored. And it was a 6-6 ball game early. And then we were able to make some plays and had a couple of one-play drives and made some, did some good things on special teams where we had good field position and were able to kind of take control of the game early and cruised. I forget what the score was, 40-something-9 at halftime. And then, and I challenged the kids. I said, I don't mean to be mean, but I don't want them to score here in the second half, and we were able to shut them out in the second half and get another couple of drives and another couple of scores and get some kids in there that, rest some starters and keep them healthy because we know we got some big ones coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Coach, we always talk about your running game and your quarterback and how dynamic, and obviously you guys have been putting out a ton of points this season. But let's talk about the passing game and at least from what I've seen the last few games, I've really seen a development, kind of a coming on of Omarion Frazier a little bit. Could you talk a little bit about Omarion and what he's brought to the team in the last few games?
Yeah, we actually, looking at the stats before we got on the bus again, and we were pretty balanced today as a team. I think we had 239 in the air and 252 or something like that on the ground. Omarion was over 100 yards on a couple of different looks. He got a little quick RPO. He got a little screen in the flat that he took to the house. And we know he can be a dynamic playmaker for us. And so we're going to try to get him the ball in space and let him go to work and be the type of player he can. And I mean, that opens things up. So you kind of forget about the run game, or you kind of forget about number 5 taking the, running the ball, and he can do dynamic things. And when you get everybody gearing up on those guys, we got a kid or two on the perimeter who can make some plays for us. So, that fortunately for us spells some points, and we like that.
Coach, I can't remember in recent memory when a Northwest team has been 7-1. And I love it. I'm an old suburban guy. I went to Lindbergh and saw the years of futility that Northwest went through. What is the mood like around campus in the community right now with this team?
I was out with some community members, kind of a somewhat event with a lot of people that have were in the building, or teachers or administrators when I was in school way back when in the 90s as well. And there was a lot of people that I didn't realize that were following the team and were very congratulatory, and we're really excited for what we're doing, and really pleased with hearing how our kids respond in the newspapers and media and how they've handled themselves as well. So it's been good. It's been really fun to watch that. And as we said, I think the first time I talked to Ray 3 years ago now, we want our community to be proud of our kids on the field and off the field, and I think we're definitely headed in the right direction.
You have a big game with Oakville at home next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Oakville, they took care of business tonight at Webster Groves. So what does Oakville bring as far as different looks for you that you guys are going to have to defend against?
Well, we know from what we saw last year with them in the Cheese, I think this is the 5th time we've played those guys in the last 3 years now. And again, we're in the same district again. So there's always that odd chance that could pan out again. But we know that Coach Ginge is going to have his guys ready to go. He's probably got every film of ours because he's one of those guys that does that, gets all that stuff, and he's going to have a good game plan, and he's going to try to take away what we've been doing best, and hopefully we can make enough plays with our other stuff and whether it's run, pass. We feel like we've got enough offense that we can kind of take what the defense gives us, and hopefully they give us enough to get a W on Friday night.
Well, I wish you guys good luck. I don't know where we're going to be at next week, but we will be following you guys very closely, Ray. I don't know. Do you have your schedule yet for next week?
I have 2 of the 3 games. I just got to make sure we've got personnel first. But, that could be one of those games we might have in the mix. We'll just have to see. But the great thing about it is I'm getting a lot of fans chiming in week after week. Oh, you're not covering this team or you're not covering that team. That really makes us feel good because it makes us feel wanted. So it's kind of nice. But, we're really limited to 3 teams, and that's where we're at right now. But we appreciate the fans' support and the fans' input on that. But we'd love to expand, but that all comes with the growth process that we're going through, and that's a good thing. So, Coach Scott Gerling, real quick, I'm just going to ask you real quick. I want to make sure I put that right. I did, yeah. So going into these last few weeks here, you've had some bumps and bruises and some things like that, and had to deal with some injuries and stuff like that. But as far as the team as a whole right now, would you say you're at about 85-90% at least?
Yeah, I think we're pretty healthy. We have a couple of younger guys that are dinged up a little bit, but most of our varsity guys and Friday night guys we really rely on, other than I would say your typical end of the year, week 8, week 9 at this point type of stuff. We don't really have a bunch of kids, maybe 1 or 2 that are going to miss time. Like we're in pretty good shape, and I give a shout out to our strength and conditioning guys around here in a lot of different ways. But I think us being able to be healthy the last couple of years, this late in the season, speaks volumes about what our kids do in the weight room and what our strength and conditioning guys do to keep them there. So, yeah, we're in pretty good shape.
It's a testimony to that. The strength and conditioning is just unbelievable. Absolutely. I mean, back when we were playing and stuff like that. I mean, if you were able to get in the weight room just a little bit, I mean, that was saying something. But that's just not that mentality and that idealistic demeanor is kind of gone out the window, and it's a must. You have to be in the weight room every day, or as much as you can.
Absolutely, and like I said, our staff here and our kids here are all bought in and are doing a great job in that. I think it showed. I think it showed up on Friday nights, and it showed up in our attitudes, and it showed up in staying healthy.
Excellent. 62-9, your final score. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure.
We appreciate you calling in. We apologize for you having to follow, Nick Bear tonight, but maybe
I'll leave that.
Yeah, if you just get in maybe 30 seconds sooner next time, you can be the opening act for Nick.
I didn't know we were running a comedy club here, Scott. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's all good.
Scott
Take
Gerling,
care,
thanks
Coach.
so much.
Enjoy the weekend.
All right, thank you guys for coverage as always.
Thank you.
Scott Gerling is our our guy here, and I gotta get this all back under control. We've been so far out back and forth and whatnot, but we got one more coach here right now on the line here. Corey Hanger is in the dark, but Corey, how you doing? Ooh.
I bet you Corey.
Oh boy. Okay.
Corey's probably on the bus.
Sounds like he's on the bus. Corey, do me a favor if you want to jump in here, just give me a call and I'll put you on with just, and we've had to do that before, so that's not a big deal, but we're having a real bad connection right there. So let's try to get you on the phone and we'll see if he can, I'll know he actually answer or knows that I've said what I said when he ends up basically, there he is. He's off. So yeah, hopefully he'll give me a call here and we'll go. I
think he wanted you to call him.
That's okay. I can do that too. So
okay. Yeah, they had a tough time down at St. Vincent tonight. I watched most of that game. St. Vincent got out to an early lead on them, and it was their homecoming night down there at St. Vincent. That game didn't start till 7:40.
Yeah.
Tonight. And
yeah. Hold on, Corey. Hold on, Corey. Can you hear me?
How's it going?
There he is.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, so here it is. This is the kind of backwards way of doing things, but we'll do it. So
yep.
Corey,
yep.
give me your thoughts on tonight's game.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys got the score yet. It's not paying out the way we wanted to. We kind of got our butts kicked a little bit, 44-12. I think maybe still having a little bit of a hangover from last week's win over Jefferson, but honestly, and it's tough. If you look at the score, it looks like we really got our butts kicked, but man, it was just a couple plays here and there that really separated the game. I mean, we moved the ball well, especially in the first half. Got stopped in the red zone twice. Dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone, and then we had two missed interceptions, both of them in the first half, both of them leading to touchdowns. That would have stopped that drive for Vinny. So, it definitely a tough loss, but a great learning moment for us, learning opportunity. Because I think kind of the last couple of weeks we've gotten away with some of the mistakes we've been making in games. I think Vinny just did a really good job of taking advantage of those mistakes that we've been making. Just tells us that we need to be a more disciplined team going forward. Hats off to Vinny too. They game planned us really well. They got a little bit healthier this week. Had some guys back that we hadn't seen on film that really were huge difference makers against us.
Yeah. Interesting. You guys are in a really interesting conference this season, especially, and it's going to be really, and I think a lot of folks need to be just watching this conference here. This Quad County Conference. Herky won last tonight. They beat Perryville 16-13.
Yep.
And so I don't know what that does, but even here in last week when I was interviewing Coach Boss about the potential of them still actually winning a conference, it's still there. And I was just like, there's no way, right? And he's like, no, yeah, it can happen. It's just the weirdest thing. So I have no idea what's going to happen here. I don't know if it's all solidified yet, but it's been a really entertaining season for the entire conference, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really good for the area too that we've got multiple teams that are competitive. Right? It just tells each and every team that hey, we gotta have a great week of practice. As coaches, we gotta have a great week of game planning because at this point anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, take care, drive safe, and we'll just sit back and see how things pan out here.
Yep, 100%. Thank you, guys.
Hey, appreciate that. That's Coach Corey Hanger there as we continue on. And I'm going to bring Jeff back in here real quick. And do we know exactly how this whole Quad County's panning out right now?
No, but people are going to have to tune in Sunday night because we'll take a deep dive into the standings for both that and the Mississippi Area Conference.
Oh, look at that. How about that? I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on, but you've kind of cut in and cut out a couple times. I'm not sure. Is your phone on our network out there? Or are you using the cell service?
No, I'm using my PC here and your internet. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's really interesting. And I've talked to people, for many years in the old I-55 conference, right? You had three dominant teams. You had Valley Catholic, you had St. Pius, you had Jefferson, and that was just no good for anybody. It's not good for those three teams to have to play teams that aren't good. So this parity that we're seeing now for most of the schools, with the exception of just a couple, is better for the whole conference. It's better for Jefferson. It's better for these other teams to have to play every week and have this parity. It makes for better games. It certainly makes for better broadcasts. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right.
And I love it. I love the fact that you're seeing upward ticks in some of these teams now, and anybody can win on any night. And I think that's great.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go over the scores one last time here real quick, unless we get another coach to jump in here. And our Week 8 results, as we speak right now, look like this. Boy, do we have some cleaning up to do here, Jeff. Festus 41, Farmington 36, Herculaneum 16, Perryville 13, St. Pius X, Kansas City 48, St. Pius X, Festus 20, Seckman 54, Hazelwood West 12, Parkway North and Fox, no score yet. Northwest 62, Parkway Central 9, St. Genevieve 55, Jefferson 14, St. Vincent 44, Grandview 12, Cuba 48, Bayless 20, Scotland County 52, Crystal City 30, Chaminade 42, Hillsborough 7, Potosi 40, DeSoto 14, no score in from Windsor and Fredericktown, and North County 24, St. Clair 14. That was Thursday night. And this week, I will say this week we're working on trying to do a Thursday night game and at least 2 Friday night games, maybe 3. We'll just see, but just depends on who we have personnel-wise again, too. But that Thursday night game could be a fun one there with Crystal City visiting Grandview, and it'll be the bowl of the small schools, I would think there. The 2 smallest schools in the county here duking it out, so I think that'll be a fun one.
Well, actually, Jefferson's smaller than Grandview now, even
Really?
though Grandview dropped down to 1. Even though Jefferson's still a Class 2 school, I'm sure that will all come out in the wash next year. But how about Cuba tonight, getting off the schneid in the Quad Conference with the win against Bayless at home? I'm sure that helps them. That game, they weren't even sure if they were able to going to play a whole 4 quarters tonight. Wow. They had so few players available, Cuba did, that they were going to have to reevaluate things at halftime, and they may have had to, call it quits right there. So at the half, so good for them. Again, that's good for the conference as well, that they were able to get through that game. Some teams stubbed their toe tonight, but here again, we're back to the parity in both the Mississippi Area Conference and the Quad Conference. So that's going to make not only for great football next week, our final game of the season, to see where everybody's going to land as far as districts goes. You've got conference championships still up for grab in the last week of the season. And then you have a look at districts, and we're going to take a deep dive into all of that for you folks, whether it's on the UFR show coming up next week, or whether it's on a separate show. It might be at a separate location. We'll tease that a little bit too, Ray.
Did you just dangle a carrot? I think you just did.
I did.
That's all right. Dangle away is all I have to say. So there you go. Well, we're going to wrap things up. No more coaches calling in here, but thank you for being a part of this. Do us a favor, like and share. If you haven't checked out our Facebook page to do that, like and share and follow us on Facebook. You'll get notifications on when we go live, also schedules and things like that. Don't forget to check out our website and Roku channel as well, livestreamstl.tv, the website, and our Roku app. Just search Live Stream STL on Roku. For Jeff Whitener, for Ray Halbrook, all of us here at Livestream STL, we're going to go take a little nap tonight and get things ready to go here. Upon further review, will be Monday night. Time to be determined because we are probably covering softball, so it might end up being 7, 8 o'clock. So for all
District
of us here,
softball.
District softball, that's right. All of us here at Livestream STL, thanks again for watching the Friday Night Blitz post-game show. We'll see you. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.